$100,000 for an H1B petition. H1B graduates and foreign students into your companies that are essentially driving the economy. Just look at Elon Musk's statement. Root of the matter is the US is simply not graduating. So stating that the US is going to go down and H1B. Now, this news is not alien to you. It has been all over all social media handles and mainstream media. We could have released a video immediately, just relaying and recapping the announcement with videos and clips, but that would not add any value to you. With this video, I'm going to help you understand the implications of the same for the audience of our channel, which is essentially students going on F1 visas to the US and other countries, and what it means for your future, and the likely possibilities of what is going to happen in the next few days and in the coming months. So, what exactly happened? On Friday afternoon, President Trump, along with some of his associates, made an announcement that every new H1B petition for people entering the country from outside the US will have to be accompanied by a $100,000 annual fee. Now, this spread a lot of panic, and even a lot of my friends who've been working in the US on H1B for over 10 years now were worried that they will not be allowed to re-enter the country unless their employer paid that $100,000 fee. Immediately the next day, there was a clarification made on a couple of things. It was stated that this does not apply to people who already have an H1B or whose H1B petition has already been filed. Secondarily, it has been stated that this is not an annual fee, but it is a one-time fee. This was in fact very contradictory to the very executive order that was announced and the statements that were made the previous day, which dictates a lot of confusion from within the administration itself. After the initial announcement on Friday and the clarification on Saturday, what does this mean for you? Based on the language in the executive order, this only applies to fresh H1B petitions and people entering the country new on an H1B visa. Therefore, the implication should be that if a company is hiring somebody directly from a foreign country and outside the US and they're putting their name into the H1B lottery, a direct recruit, then their petition will have to be accompanied by the $100,000 fee. Now, the problem here is that a lot of them are being hired for $60,000, $65,000, $70,000 for a lot of work that may not be highly skilled. Additionally, if you have to go strictly by the language in the executive order, it would seem that people on F1 visas will also be exempt because you're technically not entering the country on the H1B. You are going from a change of status from F1 to H1B. Now, here is what is unclear. Now, based on the announcement on Saturday, which was the clarification, it is stated that this fee applies to the H1B lottery of 2026, which could be in March. Therefore, as an F1 student, will your name going into the lottery also have to have this fee attached to your petition? Well, once again, the executive order says that it is for people entering the country on an H1B visa. If you're already in the country on the F1 and you're transitioning to the H1B, then this technically should not apply to you. But nobody is 100% sure about this because there are White House officials, government officials all across the board working in the same administration who are contradicting each other at this point in time. Therefore, you will only get clarity in the next 1 or 2 days. Now, all this speculation, this could happen, that could happen, is the less likely outcome, right? All of them are low likelihood. What is the most likely thing that is going to happen? Well, this is going to be struck down by courts, the entire executive order. Now, having gone through what immigration lawyers in the US are stating and having spoken to a few of them over the last day or two, it is abundantly clear that this executive order is going to find it very hard to survive the courts. In fact, there are scores of legal petitions and injunctions that are being prepared over the weekend and they will be filed first thing Monday. And the general belief is that the administration themselves know that this is not going to survive the first contact or the first challenge in court at this point in time because there are so many legal frailties in the executive order. Therefore, instead of ruining your weekend and ruining your days by going through speculations, going through our LinkedIn gurus and influencers who are trying to sell you so many different interpretations and also getting stressed by the WhatsApp forwards that your relatives are no doubt sending you, wait for 2 or 3 or 4 days and then you will have complete clarity on this issue. It's not going to take weeks of time. It's going to be a lot sooner because there are a number of cases coming its way. The bigger issue is the macroeconomic implication of these decisions at this point in time that you have to understand. And this is a message to all these influencers who are stating that the US is going to go down and we are going to celebrate and the other countries are going to become great. You have to understand that the US is the largest economy in the world by far. It is a $30 trillion economy. China, by contrast, is a $19 trillion economy, but China has 4.5 times the number of people. India, by contrast, is approaching a $4 trillion GDP size. again with about 5 times the population that the US has at this point in time. Now, the truth of the matter is the US is simply not graduating enough engineers to meet the demand and the beast that is the US tech economy. They are far ahead of every other country in the world at this point in time. With that population and a fewer proportion of engineers, it is impossible for the American economy to not just stay at the forefront but to stay afloat without enough H1B engineers, tech and STEM grads graduating and taking these jobs. To make it worse, there is also the question of the Hire Act that the Trump administration has proposed, which essentially is a 25% tariff on any work that is outsourced to other countries. Therefore, if Apple or Microsoft are outsourcing any of their call center or tech support work to India, they will be charged a 25% tariff. So you're saying that you cannot outsource work with a heavy tariff. You are saying that you're going to make it harder to hire H1B graduates and foreign students into your companies that are essentially driving the economy. Just look at Elon Musk's statement, which will be plugged on the screen. It is the H1Bs that are driving these tech companies at this point in time. So you're preventing that as well. This is nothing to celebrate whichever country you're looking at, because if the US economy is hit, Europe is going to be hit, India is going to be hit. We are very, very dependent by and large on what the US tech scene does. Therefore, always look at the broader picture. You'll have to understand that there are logical people still in place and capitalism is still a thing. And this is essentially a country shooting itself in its own foot. This announcement was made very, very strategically on a Friday afternoon, knowing fully well that the courts are not going to function on the weekend. Therefore, all the hype and hoopla and publicity and the headlines and the voter base appeasement was done over the weekend. And the administration fully knows that this executive order is not going to survive the first challenge that it faces in court, but the job of spreading panic and sending a message has been done. By and large, capitalism and economics trumps all of these sensationalist statements. And I know that at this point in time, it's very difficult for you to take that rational logic and thinking ahead. But well, this is what is going to count and happen in the long term. So I hope this video makes sense to you. If you did not, please do spread your hate in the comments as well. But if it did make sense to you, please do drop a like to this video and comment your take on the entire situation. If you watched this video until this point, I'm sure you liked it. Why don't you subscribe?